Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Center Girl Sports Pod to episode 65 with our amazing softball former pitcher Kelly Maxwell as my guest today. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear this interview. It is truly one of my favorite interviews that I have ever done. And I say that not to discount any other guest. Obviously, I am very partial to every person who has been on my show. But Kelly is someone that I have watched play softball for a very long time, even before her days as a Sooner. We talk a little bit about her journey and all of that coming up, and I cannot wait for you to hear it. But first, let's thank my sponsors of the show. The show is sponsored by Marvin's Place, a fine art gallery and listening room located in the Depot District in Ardmore, Oklahoma. Come experience amazing artwork, and on Friday nights, visit the listening room. Intimate and unplugged venue host singer and songwriters on Friday evenings from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Relax with a glass of wine or craft beer and enjoy some wonderful music. You can find out more, including links to all of their social media where all of this information is posted. Their music calendar, artwork, and jewelry available at the gallery at their website on marvinsplace.gallery. Also, thank you to my sponsor, Therapy to Go in Ardmore, the funnest place in town to drive through for a drink, and you don't even have to get out of your car. They have a large variety of spirits as well as fountain drinks and snacks, and you can find them on social media, Facebook and Instagram, both at Therapy to Go Ardmore. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to Ben Brock. I mentioned him before, speaking of my sponsor, Marvin's Place. His nephew is our baseball catcher, Brendan Brock, that I hosted on the podcast earlier in March. Well, Ben is actually going to be playing at Marvin's Place Gallery on Friday, August the 28th. So I know that's a ways away, but for anyone who may want to mark their calendar, that like to plan and schedule things to do, it'd be a great time to come down to Southern Oklahoma Friday, August the 28th. Again, Ben Brock at Marvin's Place Art Gallery. 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. is the music, and I hope that you will come and visit. I am planning on being there. It is on the calendar. Stop by, see my friends at Therapy to Go on your way downtown. I did get to meet up with Ben at the baseball game this past week. He was there with the family to watch Brendan, of course, and I'd met him before briefly at another time he played at Marvin's Place, and just a truly nice guy, awesome musician. Check out all of his stuff online for sure. Just a fantastic family. Brendan's dad actually threw out the first pitch on Saturday's game, I believe, as they honored him for being a Armed Forces vet. So shout out to the Brock family. Just a fantastic family. Okay, quick update on a few injuries. I was supposed to record with Dr. Jason Linen again today. It has been a while. As you know, luckily we haven't had a lot to talk about, which is a good thing. I have missed chatting with Jason. We haven't chatted since the end of football season. But unfortunately, we had some scheduling conflicts for the podcast this week. So we're going to try again next week, and we'll discuss these things that I'm going to bring up today. But I do want to go ahead and mention them. Our former Sooner that plays in the NBA now for the Los Angeles Lakers, Austin Reeves, he unfortunately is out for the remainder of the regular season and is expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a grade 2 oblique injury, which unfortunately could lead into the playoffs for him. Also, back on the Norman home front, our baseball player, Cord Rager, if you noticed this past weekend, he did not have his normal Saturday start with our series at home. Coach Skip Johnson said that he has a, quote, tender lat, and he will not be making his normal start. It's precautionary, and they're hopeful he'll be back for next weekend on the road at Vandy. So best wishes to those two as they heal up and get well soon. And again, I'm planning to circle back with Dr. Linen for next week's episode so we can talk about that and the impacts that it has on those athletes. So looking forward to that. Also, a quick update on where you can find me this coming week. At OU events, you can find me this coming Friday, April the 10th. I will be at the track meet. It's the John Jacobs Invitational hosted at OU. Outdoor track season is upon us, and it looks like it's going to be a great day weather-wise. So I'm planning to be there this Friday, April the 10th. Not sure of the exact timing of the event. I have been texting with Coach and a couple of the girls. They're supposed to let me know some updates on timing. I'll be posting that on my social media at Sooner Girl Pod. Definitely on my Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads, and in my Facebook and Instagram stories, I'll be posting timing updates for that. If you're interested in coming out or just want to come hang out with me or whatever, just shoot me a message and I would love to see you there. Also, next Friday evening, again, Friday, April the 10th, you can find me at the Rowing Open House in Norman at their training center just south of the Lloyd Noble Center. It's from 4:30 to 6 p.m. I plan to be there. If you're watching the video, you can see my new shirt. I am ready to go and experience and learn some more about rowing and meet some of our team and coaches. So very much looking forward to that. If you can check out some more information on that on their social media, give a RSVP if you want to attend. They're also doing one on Saturday morning. I believe it's 9 to 11:30 at their riverfront facilities there in Oklahoma City if you're interested in doing that one instead. So again, check out their social media at OU Rowing if you're interested in attending their open houses this weekend. Also, just a quick heads up on some things coming up next week because it's going to be a very busy week. The following week, we have Bedlam Baseball in Tulsa on Tuesday the 14th, Bedlam Softball in Oklahoma City at Devon Park on Wednesday the 15th. We also have a softball series versus Arkansas the weekend of the 17th and the spring football game on Saturday the 18th. I will be there at those events. Also, the spring game party, the annual party hosted by Scissorhands at Coach's Corner on Saturday, the 18th. After the spring game, the party's from 6 to 10 p.m. A DJ and lots of fun stuff going on. So I'm planning on being there as well. So that's just a look on the next 2 weeks coming up. I know that's a lot going on, but if you're going to be out and about at any of those things, I would love to see you there. Okay, now on to our Sooner headlines of the week. Again, reminder, spring football game Saturday, the 18th of April, noon kickoff. And so the timing works out perfect if you want to attend baseball and softball. Those timings are spread out. It's a great weekend to spend in Norman. Again, baseball is hosting a series at home, softball hosting a series at home, women's tennis hosting the SEC championships the 15th through the 19th. So just a great time to get out in Norman. So mark your calendars for that. If you're planning to attend, I would love to see you there. On to men's basketball. Quick shout out to our former Sooner in the NBA now for the New Orleans Pelicans. Jeremiah Fears, he crossed the 1,000th point mark just a couple of nights ago. He is the 11th player in NBA history to hit 1,000 points before his 20th birthday. So just a few of those names that he has joined company with: LeBron, Kobe, Carmelo, Katie, Ant Flag, Dwight, Luka, Booker, and Jabari Smith Jr. That's quite a list. So welcome to it, Jeremiah Fears. Also, OU basketball is hiring former Clemson GM Lucas McKay to help boost roster management per a recent report. So looking forward to the changes that we have going forward regarding that. Okay, now on to the Crown in Vegas. The Sooners were invited to compete for $500,000 in NIL money this past weekend. We made it all the way to the championship game, but let's do a rundown of those games. Semifinals on Wednesday, April the 1st. It was an ugly, ugly win in overtime for the Sooners, but we pulled it out 90-86 over Colorado. Several of our guys got in foul trouble early on, but Nigel Pack had 20 points, 5 assists, Tay Davis 19, Xavier Brown 17 points, Koala Talk 16 points. And just a reminder, Dayton Forsyth was not on the roster, did not play in this tournament. He did have ankle surgery just a couple of weeks ago. He's recovering from that, was not allowed to travel with the team, so he was not there. So just a reminder on that in case you were wondering where he was. On to Saturday in the semifinals versus Baylor, pulled out a great win there. 82-69 final. Xavier Brown, 21 points. Darion Reed, 17. Tay Davis, 18 points. It was the best game ever from Kai Rogers, but he had 4 points, 4 rebounds, 17 minutes played for him. Nigel Pack is now number 15 of all time for made threes. 132 of those in his college career. So the final stats there, we had X with 21, Tay 18, Darion 17, Nigel 15, Koala Talk 5, Kai 5, 4 points, Mo had 2 points, and Jadon had 2 rebounds and an assist. Then moving on to the championship game, we played West Virginia on this past Sunday, April the 5th. Unfortunately, went to overtime again, but we're not able to close the deal. Such a hard loss there in that final in overtime, 82-89. We are the runners-up of the crowd. but that is $100,000 of NIL money for the program. And now we move on to transfer portal time. The portal opens on Tuesday, April the 7th. So when this episode drops, it will have opened the day before. So ready to see what we can get going forward. You know, it's crazy looking back at that game on Sunday. I actually didn't get to watch it. I was having some issues with Fox. So I was following along. I was watching our women's gymnastics in the regional finals. We got behind, we got back, got a good lead, gave up a late lead in regulation, of course, then headed to overtime. We just couldn't close the door. Unfortunately, that's been a trend this past season. I feel like we have a very talented roster. I am glad going forward to keep that continuity with Porter Moser and the coaches heading into the NIL. I mean, on a decent high note. I know it could have been much better, but going forward, I think we have a lot to build off of, and the portal opening up will be interesting to see who goes, who stays, who we can get, and all of that. So hopefully we can keep and retain a lot of those guys. That would be very helpful. I am recording this week with Tyler Neal, and I will be doing a basketball season recap with him. That episode will air next week on April the 15th. And so you'll want to tune in for that. We're going to talk about the men's and women's teams, wrap up their season, how things went, looking into the off season, things that are going on, some changes that have already happened, and what may be coming up. So you'll want to tune in for that one for sure if you are a basketball fan. On that note, for our women, do want to mention Tyler and I will talk about this, but Coach Pauline Love, our assistant coach, she was named the head coach at Alabama. So she is leaving Oklahoma, which is obviously bittersweet. She is an amazing person, an amazing coach. I wish her all the best at Bama. No one's more deserving. But also Zaya Van hits the portal. Can't help but wonder if maybe she's going with Pauline. Just an interesting person I didn't see going in the portal, being an Oklahoma product. Her sister obviously graduated from OU. Kind of shocked everyone. So I'm kind of curious to see where she ends up. But hopefully we'll have some more information on that. And again, Tyler and I will talk about that for next week's episode for sure. Okay, on to our women's gymnastics. Lexington Regional, they dominated this past weekend. We won the Lexington Regional second round, 197.875, and the next runner-up team was 196.550 against Ohio State, Rutgers, and Kentucky. Two gymnasts elevated the team's performance on bars. Freshman Ella Murphy, who was named the regional bar champ, and sophomore Lily Peterson. Along OU and Ohio State from that set advanced on to the regional final this past Sunday, where we faced Missouri and Arkansas. On Sunday in the regional final, win our 16th consecutive regional. Faith Torres scores another perfect 10 on the beam. We came out of that regional scoring over 198. Our final score was 198.350, Missouri. And then our second place team behind us, who will be going to Fort Worth with us, is Arkansas with a 197.5. So again, OU will travel to Fort Worth beginning on April 16th, that Thursday. And there are 8 teams who have made it to that bracket, and they will compete on Thursday the 16th. And then the final 4 top teams will advance to the final round on Saturday the 18th. So mark your calendars for that. You won't want to miss it. No, it's going to be right in the middle of our spring football game and all of the things going on, which I absolutely hate. I will plan to go back and watch it for sure after the fact, but definitely plan to follow along that day. Shout out to our men's gymnastics program. Again, I cannot say enough about Coach Mark. I cannot say enough about these athletes. I will shout it from the rooftops till I'm blue in the face. Back-to-back conference championships for our guys. Team season high on P-bars by more than a point. Career best from Sasha and Nathan as we clear a 332.1 mark. Highest score of the season. In the MPSF finals in Cali this past weekend, we had several individual awards. Fuzzy Bennis on the vault, Nathan Roman P-bars, Nico Hamilton on the horizontal bars, Colby Aranda on the pommel. Again, that's 21 MPSF conference titles, most for any team from any sport in the MPSF. 20 in 27 years as head coach for Coach Mark Williams. Highest score in the nation this year so far with that 332.1. And again, that was just a great win over Stanford. We cleared them by 5 solid points, Cali and Air Force. Next up for the guys is the NCAA qualifiers. and the Natty for the guys, which is on April 17th and 18th, so around the same time frame as our girls are competing in Fort Worth as well. So mark your calendars and give them a follow. So best of luck to our Sooners gymnastics men and women as they advance to the national championships rounds, and best of luck to you guys on the floor. We wish you nothing but the best. Our baseball team has had quite a roller coaster of a ride the last few weeks. We fell to a number 16 ranking this week. We had a great shutout win 4-0 over ORU last Tuesday on March the 30th. It was our 5th shutout of the season. Michael Catalano pitched for 5 innings, no earned runs, 2 hits, and 7 Ks. Incredible. Nick Weslowski came in and pitched for 3 innings, had 5 Ks. Brendan Brock had a 3-run home run. Just shout out to those guys for sealing the deal on that one. Bama series at home. I was there on Thursday night. What a game. Unfortunately, we just couldn't pull it out after a late surge after getting behind early in the game. 10-7 loss to Bama. Marcurius pitched 6 innings, only 4 hits, 3 earned runs, and 7 Ks. Trey Gamble hit a home run and a couple RBIs, but unfortunately just could not pull out the win in that game one. I want to give a shout out real quick to Johnny Baseball, JP Sooner on Twitter, their friend Maddie, and I also met a guy named Chan who sat behind us. I want to give them a shout out. First of all, John, who upgraded my tickets to the game that Thursday night for me and my hubby. We got to sit down there with them, and they were so much fun to sit by. They are hilarious. Just had a great time just talking and watching the game with them. So shout out again. Thank you, Johnny Baseball, for those tickets. If you don't listen to the podcast, The Oklahoma Baseball Experience, if you are an Oklahoma baseball fan, I highly recommend that podcast. Again, it's called The Oklahoma Baseball Experience. You can find them on Instagram, and I know they're on Apple and Spotify. But Johnny Baseball, John Webb, and then his friend Brandon Schultz have an amazing podcast. They have so many great guests from the baseball program on, including Coach Skip Johnson, lots of the players. They do a pizza party on the berm on Saturdays for Doc, as many of you guys know. Doc, he's the older guy who you'll see him at the baseball game. Such a cute, sweet guy. But they're just great people, such a lot of fun. And so I just want to give a shout out to them for getting to hang out with them on Thursday night. Even though the game didn't turn out the way we wanted, we had a great, great time. So I just want to give a quick shout out to them and a plug for their podcast because they are great. Friday, the game got moved to earlier in the afternoon due to the weather, but we were able to pull out a win and even the series with a 4-2 win over Bama that day. Saturday, unfortunately, just could not clinch the series. They suffered a 2-3 loss. Coach Johnson said that he thought that we gave that game away. We've got to just play fundamental baseball. We beat ourselves in that first inning. We just couldn't overcome those early miscues in that rubber match. So lost the series to Alabama in that low-scoring battle. Pitcher Jones had 2 innings pitched, no hits, no earned runs, 3 Ks. Shout out to him. Dickerson had some great hits in that game as well. But next up for our baseball guys, they play at Dallas Baptist tonight as I'm recording this on Monday, April the 6th. So when this episode drops, it will have been a couple days before. So be sure and check social media for updates on that game. But they head to Vandy next weekend. Also want to give a quick shout out to our baseball player Jackson Willits and his wife Abigail as they welcomed their baby girl last week on March the 30th. Abigail was at the baseball game on Thursday when I was there. I saw her across the way with Carly Murray there over by the dugout, sitting with that baby that's just 3 days old at her first baseball game, watching her dad. And it was just incredible to see. So congratulations, Jackson Willits, our shortstop, and his wife, Abigail, on the birth of their baby girl. Okay, on to softball. There is only one player in the SEC that's currently hitting over 500, and that is Kai Minor. She is a freshman. She leads the SEC with a .505 average, just truly mind-blowing. These softball girls continue to blow me away every day. And most of you know Kendall Wells broke that freshman record. We'll get to that here shortly. But I do want to mention that we did move up in the rankings. Texas got beat by Bama. They lost the series to them. So they did fall from their number one ranking. I do believe they fell to number 5. But OU has moved up to number 3 in a lot of the polls this week. So it'll be very interesting to see going forward how things pan out as we head to Austin next weekend for that matchup. Red River rivalry on the Diamond. It's going to be a good one. But let's rewind for a second to that Wichita State game last Tuesday on March the 30th. We had a 12-3 walk-off in 6 innings by Bella Emmerling. 4 home runs in the 5th and 6th innings. Kendall Wells hit number 27. That was the new SEC single season record at the time. SEC baseball has been played for nearly 30 years, and nobody in the conference has ever hit more home runs in a single season than Kendall Wells, and she's not done yet. As we headed into the home series with Kentucky this past weekend, game 1 on Thursday. Again, a run rule win in 5, 10-2 win. Kai Miner, awesome at the plate, 3 RBIs. Kendall Wells, again, a 2-run home run from her. Cassidy Pickering had a solo home run. Ella Parker had the walk-off on that one. Game 2 on Friday, moved up to Friday afternoon due to weather, but it was still packed out, still had a great crowd. 9-1 win, another run rule in 5 innings. That was the 28th run rule, most in the NCAA. Home run count was now at 29 for Kendall and the team at 140. Lexi McDaniels had 5 RBIs and a 2-run home run. You scored 6 runs with 2 outs. It was amazing what we got done in 2 outs during this game. Kendall Wells again hit number 29 for her. Molly Gacchino had an awesome game, pitched 4 innings, had 3 Ks. Game 3, another walk-off run rule win. Cassidy Pickering, 12-2 win in 5 innings. Now the home run count up to 144 for the team. Kendall Wells, number 30, tied for most in a season for a freshman. 40 games, which is 22 fewer games than any other freshman in D1 history. She joins Jocelyn Allo and Lauren Chamberlain as other Sooners who have accomplished that feat. Again, in that game, we had an Ella Parker home run, Cassidy Pickering a walk-off grand slam, Sydney Burzon 4 innings pitched, no hits, no runs. What an absolute gem. Just a fantastic game from Sid. 4 innings, no hits, all 12 outs were recorded on the infield. Easily Sid's best outing. She was in command all day long. So again, just a reminder, Bama took that series from Texas, and we head to Austin this weekend, so it's going to be a great one. Also, some stats that they put up on the TV during one of the games. Offensive power as freshmen for our softball team. Kendall Wells, .395 batting average, which is crazy with all the home runs that she's hit. Kai Miner hitting that .505, 6 home runs. Lexi McDaniel, 9 home runs with a .463 batting average. Alyssa Parker, a .345 batting average and 10 home runs. So just an incredible showing by our freshman class. It's truly unbelievable. And I cannot wait to see what these girls do in Austin next weekend. A quick rundown from Seth Olivares on Twitter/X. He's one of my favorite softball follows for sure. The softball numbers through week 9. We're at a 38-3 record with an 11-1 conference record. First in the SEC now. We stand alone. We're up by 2 games after Texas loses to Bama this past weekend. We're 7-2 versus top 25. We have 29 run rule wins, 477 runs scored, only 103 runs allowed, 144 home runs, 483 hits. That's a .425 average, 33 walks, 8 shutouts, 17 errors, 2 Ks through 233 innings pitched, and a 5-game win streak. Okay, just a reminder for my soccer fans, the spring schedule is out. If you were in the DFW area, you have a couple of times in the month of April that you can catch up and see our Sooners playing in and also your last spring home game is on Saturday, April the 25th. It is free, so I hope that you will get out and support our girls. Eileen Lassinoli, I had her on the pod just a couple of weeks ago, one of our soccer girls, so sweet, and so I can't wait to get out and support them in the fall. But if you have an opportunity this spring, check out their spring schedule and get out and support them. Our wrestling team has been very active in the portal already so far. We landed 3 commitments this past weekend and very good commitments. I know one kid was coming in from Oklahoma State. We had a couple others coming in. So very excited as our wrestling team is building in the off season. Roger Kish and the coaching staff, very promising going forward. Again, just a shout out to our volleyball program. If you are a volleyball fan, check out their spring schedule, free admission at McCaslin Fieldhouse. They do have a couple of games coming up in April in Norman, so I hope that you'll get out and support them. Okay, on to our tennis. Women's have a number 8 ranking, and shout out to Evialina Laskevich. I apologize. I know I totally butchered that name, but she's our first SEC Player of the Week since joining the conference, so shout out to her. She is undefeated, 4-0 on the weekend last week, 3 ranked wins, 2 match clinchers, and again, SEC Player of the Week, so shout out to her for that. Our girls have 11 wins in a row after this weekend, after a 4-3 win at number 11 Vandy, and then a 4-0 win at Missouri, our 12th shutout victory of the spring. Next up for our women, they host number 2 Texas A&M this coming Thursday, April the 9th. So if you're able to get out and support our girls for free, at the Headington Family Tennis Center. I highly recommend doing so. And then they host our SEC championship April 15th through the 19th in Norman as well. So more information will be coming on that soon regarding admission and scheduling and things like that. So stay tuned for that. Okay, for our men's tennis program, shout out to 3 times in a row SEC Freshman of the Week, Johan Rodriguez. He is so much fun to watch. I have been watching him at the matches that I've been able to go to, and I'm very much looking forward to watching him over the next several years as a Sooner. I did attend senior day this past Saturday. We had a 4-3 win over Mississippi State. Shout out to my guy, Bruno Naveen. I had him on the podcast last summer talking about his journey to Oklahoma from Mozambique. And his fellow senior that was honored on Saturday, Luis Alvarez. I've grown to love Luis, watching him play with Bruno the last couple of years. And they will truly, truly be missed on the court going forward. It's always hard on senior day to see these kids go, especially as I've gotten attached to so many different kids through my podcast. I feel like they're mine. Just watching them play and blossom and grow is truly rewarding. So shout out to Bruno and Louise. Best of luck to them after their senior day. I'm so honored I was able to be there. Posted a picture with them on my social media. I hope you'll go check it out. And I'm looking forward to attaching myself to another tennis player, having one on the pod soon, and just having someone else to watch in the next few years for sure. But our guys are doing so well. They're hitting the road this week to Arkansas and then on to Texas A&M and then to the SEC. So their home schedule is done for the season, unfortunately, but there's lots to follow for them going forward on social media. So I hope that you will show them your support. Okay, a few quick highlights from our track and field team at the Battle on the Bayou at LSU this past weekend. Rain or shine, those kids were competing and they came out with a lot of accomplishments this past weekend. Our women's 400 meter hurdles, Chloe Rodriguez finished second and moved up to number 6 in program history. Our pole vault, Jacelyn Neighbors cleared to finish 7th and tied for 8th in OU history. Women's hammer throw, Kennedy Clark finished 7th. Women's long jump, Aguirre Dewall delivered a personal best jump to take the win in that. Men's long jump, Nicholas Chu placed a 5th place finish with his jump. Our men's 200 meters, Kennedy Stringfellow clocked a 4th place finish in that race. Women's UK steeplechase, Gabby Barrera secure a runner-up finish in that event. Jack Vincent led the Sooners with the victory in the men's 3,000 meter steeplechase and clocked to move up to number 7 in program history. Men's shot put, Tucker Smith secured a 5th place finish. Women's shot put, Tylee Dodson recorded an outdoor personal best to finish 4th place. Women's discus, Chesney Scott threw to place 5th place. Men's discus, Ralford Mullings, the amazing Olympian from Jamaica, delivered a throw to claim the win on that event, marking the top performance in the SEC so far this season. Shout out to Ralford. I'm having Ralford and his wife Maggie, who is also one of our throwers, on the track team. They will be on the podcast here in a couple of weeks, so I hope that you will give that one a listen at the end of the month. Women's high jump, Hannah Piffner finished 2nd and Brianna Rivers finished 4th. Men's high jump, Tyson Ritz cleared an outdoor personal best to earn a runner-up finish. Men's 800, 3 Sooner outdoor personal best from Hayden Gray, Carlos Tello, and Logan Seeger. And in the women's 800, I apologize, I don't mean to butcher this name, Abby DeChurcher clocked to finish 7th, and Kel McDavid posted an outdoor personal best as well. A men's 400 meter strong performance from Keith Griffin III, who delivered a personal best time and is a national champion in that event. In our women's triple jump, Taylor Fingers finished 3rd, and her finish tied her for number 10 in program history. And also in the women's triple jump, Riley Emmenhauser jumped to finish 4th place. And next up for our track squad is the John Jacobs Invitational at home this coming Friday, again, April the 10th. I am planning to be there. I will be posting times and more details on that event as the week progresses. So be sure and give me a follow on social media at Sooner Girl Pod on all platforms, and I will be posting that, of course, in my Facebook and Instagram stories, Twitter, Blue Sky, and Threads. I'll be posting some more timing information on that track meet and when I will plan to be there. So I hope to see you there. Also, a quick shout out for our rowing squad. They have a number 21 ranking. And again, reminder, those open houses this weekend, Friday the 10th in Norman at their training center from 4:30 to 6, and the 11th at their Riverfront facility in Oklahoma City. It's 9 to 11:30 a.m., I believe. Check their social media for more details on that. Up next for our rowing squad is April 17th at the Orlando Invitational. And I want to give a shout out to our SEC Freshman of the Week, Hannah Sattler, in the 5 seat. She is from Germany and she competed in the 5 seat of our first varsity 8 at the Ohio State Spring Regatta this past month. We posted a first place finish in the morning session and added a runner-up finish in the afternoon session thanks to Hannah. So shout out to her for being SEC Freshman of the Week. Okay, our women have a number 23 ranking, and they are playing as I am recording this at the Veritex Bank Challenge in DFW. So I'll be posting some updates on that on social media this week, and I will give you an update on how they finish on next week's show. Our men finished 5th place in the Maridoe Collegiate last week. Ryder Cohen finished 3rd, and Jay Summy tied for 19th. Coltrane Matag tied for 29th. Clark Van Galen 38th. And Matthew Troutman 67th. Oklahoma closes the regular season men's golf on April 12th and 13th at the Ford Collegiate at the Ford Field and River Club in Richmond Hills, Georgia. Postseason play begins on April 22nd at the SEC Championship at Sea Island Golf Club on St. Simon's Island in Georgia. Okay, again, just a reminder of all of the club sports that we have at OU right now. I'm wanting to remind you about our women's flag football team who begins their competition this coming weekend, April the 12th. They'll be on the road. You can check them out on Instagram. And again, I shared a lot of their content in my stories. So I hope you'll go and give them a follow and support those girls. They are selling a shirt as a fundraiser for their team. I hope you'll go support them and get out and watch them when you can. I am working to try to get a schedule on when they'll be playing at home and where that will be, and I will keep you updated on that so we can get out and support them here in Oklahoma. Okay, for my Sooner MVPs of the week, quite a few names I could not leave out again and not mention. Kendall Wells on that SEC freshman record for home runs, Ralford Mullings for that event title and the best in the SEC so far this season. Also, shout out to our rowing SEC freshman of the week, Hannah Sattler. Okay, to end this segment with a Sooner fun fact, the Oklahoma men's gymnastics team holds the all-time record for NCAA championships, tied with Penn State at 12 titles. So again, do not sleep on men's gymnastics. Shout out to Coach Mark Williams and the squad for their conference championship this past weekend. They're preparing for nationals in the next couple of weeks. So shout out to them for that. Best of luck. And I hope they add another trophy to the case. Okay. Thank you all again so much for listening and supporting. I hope that you will share this episode with a friend. I know that you know a softball fan, and I know that you know someone who loves Kelly Maxwell. So I hope that you will tell them to go give this episode a listen. I have merch for sale: hats, t-shirts, hoodies, koozies, stickers, tank tops, soonergirl.bigcartel.com. Also, go like and follow on all social media at SoonerGirlPod. Check me out on Substack to subscribe to my newsletter called The Playbook. It comes out once a month and does a recap on all things Sooner Girl Sports Pod so that you don't miss a thing. Ladies, if you're not a member of the Lock Her Room, we have an online huddle coming up at the end of April you won't want to miss. I do giveaways. We have a private chat. You get a merch discount, all kinds of fun things. So if you're interested in that, it's only $5 a month. You can find out that information on Substack as well. Also, advertising opportunities, sponsorships available. You can email me at SoonerGirlSportsPod@gmail.com or shoot me a message on social media. You can find all of that information linked at my link in bio, which is my link tree on all of my social media, again at SoonerGirlPod on all platforms. So now on to the whole reason that you are all here to hear the amazing Kelly Maxwell. She is a professional softball pitcher for the Cascade of the AU Softball League, where she will be playing this summer. And she's a member of the U.S. Women's National Softball Team. And she also played at Oklahoma State and at OU. She also has played for the Oklahoma City Spark, which is now part of the AU Softball League as well. With many of her former OU and OSU teammates, she has a list of accolades and accomplishments that are way too long for me to read on here, but I am putting all of that in the show notes. I hope that you will go and give it a look. It tells about her first perfect game that she pitched, her pitching records, how she led the Big 12. She was the MVP of the Women's College World Series, and she has so many highlights and awards, including winning medals at the World Cup representing the United States in 2024, and then at the World Games in 2025. First team All-American, second team All-American, three-time first team All Big 12, co-Big 12 Pitcher of the Year, Women's College World Series All Tournament Team. Again, most outstanding player. She's a national champion and a World Cup All Team. We talk about her favorite Sooner memory, everything she learned and all the ways that she grew as a person and as a softball player during her time at OU. She talks about how she became a Sooner fan, which is a really cool story. If you don't know it, you won't want to miss it. Again, I will list all of these accolades and more in the show notes, so I hope that you will go and check them out. I do not want to discount anything that amazing girl has done. And please go and check her out on social media. She's on Twitter/X and on Instagram. You can find her at Kelly Max 28. And again, that's all linked in the show notes. I'll be tagging her and sharing on social media all week. So I hope that you'll go give her a follow. Thanks again, everybody, for listening. Please share and download. And I hope to see you next week. And I have another great episode with you with Tyler Neal as we recap the basketball season for both men and our women. And I will see you next Wednesday where we talk sports. Well, I cannot thank you enough for giving me part of your time.
Of course, anytime.
You have been one of my favorites for a very long time. And even when you were at OSU, my husband actually graduated from OSU. And so I have followed Oklahoma State softball for a while because of him. But I always loved watching you. And when you became a Sooner, I could not have been more happy.
Aw, love to hear that.
Well, you are fresh off of a trip from Australia, so let's just start there and tell me a little bit about that, because that was quite a trip for you guys, very successful, a trip for Team USA. So yeah, let's just start there and tell me a little bit about your trip down under.
Yeah, so we left the day after Christmas, kind of awkward timing with training and the holidays and all those things. I left out of Houston the day after Christmas. It was a 14-hour flight from San Francisco. And so it was a long one, but we made it there. The weather was great there. It was like 90 degrees.
Oh, wow.
All week. So it's their summertime there. So we enjoyed every minute of it, you know, getting some sun on our skin. But we played a 4-game series versus Team Australia. And we did very well. Offense showed up, showed out. Pitching showed up and showed out. And we were just there really to kind of grow the game, because in 2032, Brisbane is actually going to host the Olympics. And so we're just trying to get softball back into the Olympics, in that Olympics, and permanently from there on out. And so we're just going to grow the game. We did a kids camp. We met with a lot of higher ups in their softball organization over there, just kind of talking and showcasing, you know, what softball means to us and how it's changed our lives. So it was a great trip.
I love that. That is incredible. Well, you guys did not allow one run to be scored that entire series. I unfortunately didn't get to watch, but I was following. And then the time difference too, of course, was not
middle of the night.
Yes. But I was very impressed. Every morning I was getting up and checking Twitter and checking the updates on you guys. And of course, Alyssa Brito got the MVP of that series, which is awesome.
She did, yeah.
So, and then you, of course, as well, had lots of strikeouts and lots of no-hitters. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So I'm sure it's been interesting for you coming back and adjusting back to the central time zone for sure.
Yeah, it's still hitting me like a bus, the jet lag. And then school started literally the day after I got back on Monday.
Oh, my word.
I've been fighting it.
Oh my gosh, I bet so.
But it's okay. It'll get better.
Yes. Well, let's just talk about what you're doing now. I know you're in vet school. You're at LSU.
Yeah, so I started vet school at LSU in August. It's my first year. Vet school's 4 years, so I have 3.5 more years to go.
Okay.
It's different. Definitely something that I've always been passionate about, but it's been kind of a struggle to get back into the swing of things with school and just the demand and how fast. That was kind of the most surprising thing, is how fast it goes. Just the course load. Like, I think I'm in 9 classes every semester, and it's like 8 to 5 every day. It's like a complete job. And then it's like you got to come home and you got to study some more, and you have exams like 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh my goodness.
It's tough for sure. It's pushing me in a new kind of realm. But
sure.
I mean, it's nothing that my discipline, that I've learned through sports and softball, can't help me get through. So it's been a neat experience, but I'm excited to keep learning and help all the animals in need.
Awesome. Well, as a dog mom, I do appreciate a good veterinarian, and I do want to give a shout out to Dr. Otto, who connected us. I met him when speaking at the Kiwanis Club there in Norman, and he was so kind, and we got to talking, and he brought you up, and I was like, oh, I would absolutely love to talk to Kelly. So shout out to him for connecting us. But I know you had a good experience working with him as well during your time in Norman. He told me a little bit about that, and you guys were in close proximity, and he was able to really help nurture you in that and grow you into your love for being a veterinarian. So that's really cool that you got to do that while you were in Norman, for sure.
He's a great mentor. I remember, that year that I was there, I was online for my master's program, so it allowed me to go to his clinic from 8 to noon every day before practice. And he was absolutely great of just letting me be hands-on, really like fully investing time into me, to help me with my dreams and where I wanted to be as far as like clinical skills. He let me scrub in for surgeries, taught me how to communicate with clients. He made me write papers every week over like diseases we saw. And I mean, still to this day, he texts me like every week and just checks in, how I'm doing.
I love that.
So he's a very great man with a great family. I'm very blessed to have worked for him.
That's awesome. Well, that does not surprise me about him at all. Still checking in on you, that he definitely seems like that type of guy. So that's really cool to hear. I do want to back up for 1 second. You mentioned just the lessons that you've learned from being an athlete and how those are helping you press on during school. So let's talk a little bit more too about what are some of the things that you have learned during your time of being an athlete pretty much your whole life, but those lessons you've learned and things that will carry you on in the next phase of your life. I know you're still playing professionally, which we'll get to that here shortly, but in your veterinarian career that's coming up and just life in general, as you go on down the road, what are some of those lessons that sports have taught you that will prove to be beneficial to you?
Gosh, there's so many. I mean, I think like the biggest one is just hard work. And that started, from my parents at a young age, and just to be able to work for everything that you have and to get you where you're trying to be. And so that was instilled at me at a young age. Discipline, of course, being able to manage my time through school and sports, growing up all the way from elementary school to here I am now. Got to get homework done on the right time and be able to balance all these classes is definitely a big one. How to handle pressure, I think, is a huge one. And I think I can do that very well, that I've learned through sports. When you're put in those moments with bases loaded, tie ball game, or we're up by 1 and you got 3 outs you got to get, and just how to really calm your demeanor and really just kind of focus and trust your stuff and just go for it and believe in yourself and confidence. I mean, there's so many things, and it all translates to veterinary medicine, even life outside of that. One day I would love to be a mom and a wife, and just being able to carry that through that too.
That is so true on all of what you're saying. And I chuckled a little bit because I was thinking about you guys being in so many clutch situations in games. And I feel like I'm probably more nervous as a fan than you guys are in the moment because you've kind of prepped for it and you're used to it.
A lot of 6 a.m. practices and ice baths and a lot of things behind the scenes go into it.
For sure. That's definitely something a lot of people don't realize are the behind the scenes and the time commitment that you guys have to practices and workouts and all the things. So another person that I know personally from back when she lived in Oklahoma, Sarah Roberts. I met her about 15 years ago, and I actually had her on my podcast back in the summer just talking about her job as the chaplain for softball and everything that she does. And she is one incredible human being.
Absolutely.
Briefly knew her during her time here in Oklahoma, and just following her over the years and seeing her journey with you guys. I know your faith is important to you as well, but what are some things with her that she maybe helped teach you or that you learned from her that apply not only to sports, but life in general, which some of those things may overlap with what I just asked you, but I wanted to bring her up specifically just because she is a dear friend, and I know that you guys are all very close, and she was very special to you guys with the team for sure.
Absolutely. I love Sarah. I got to meet Sarah when I got to OU. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I struggled, of course, with just my transfer and everything I went through and the media, and I was just having a hard time. I've always been a believer, strong in my faith, and I felt like I kind of lost that a little bit through those ways. And so meeting Sarah was absolutely great for me. We would meet every week, whether it was team or one-on-one, and it would just be like a quick Bible study or a quick check-in, how are you doing? What are some ways I could pray for you? Just anything that we ever needed or to talk to, like she was there. And she was just a great resource outside of people that are involved in softball. So like your coaching staff, your teammates. It was just someone that you felt like you could talk to about anything. And she wasn't going to judge, of course. And she was going to pray for you behind the scenes. And, that's a huge, huge thing. Absolutely. And so it was so cool getting to see what she does and how she works with her teams. And then like the coaching staff, of course. Coach Gasso helped me through a lot of my stuff I was going through as well, and just how we navigated that. And I mean, it brings me chills, and like I could probably cry and go on forever about it, of just how like she's changed my life, both Coach Gasso and Sarah. And it's just cool to see what they're doing to women outside of the game, and they're growing them to be great moms and leaders and veterinarians or whatever you may be. And so it's just really cool. I mean, I feel like Oklahoma is where I grew up and where I became a woman. Yes. And I give credit to both Sarah and Coach Gasso for that.
That's awesome. Well, I was going to lead into asking you to expound on when you mentioned how you became a woman at OU, so I'm glad you brought that up. And I know that Coach Rocha, I'm sure, played a part in that as well.
Yes.
But you can expound on her for sure. But I can't imagine just having those three ladies, Rocha and Coach Gasso and Sarah, and I'm sure there's others involved as well, but just pouring into you, not just on the field, but just life in general. So how amazing is that?
Absolutely. I can't believe I left off Coach Rocha, of course. But Coach Rocha, she means the world to me too. Same thing, like a woman of faith, a great mother, leader, boss lady is what we call them at OU. Yes. And just what she's taught me on the field and off the field. I mean, she brought a new level of confidence in me, taught me so many things about pitching too that like I didn't even know existed. The mental aspect of the game, not so much like mechanics and the fine details of like spin and things, but literally just what's going on between your ears. How are you talking to yourself?
Yes.
How are you going to get through those high pressure situations? What are we going to do to get better on the mental side of the game? And so she just really helped pour into me. And I was so grateful that she had the time to do that and the faith and believed in me as well and my capabilities of what I could do.
Yes, I love to hear that. And I share your faith as well. And just seeing what Sarah has done and hearing what those other coaches do for young women is super special. And obviously that's the most important thing about life is your faith and how that guides you through your life and with all of your decisions. And I can't imagine, like you mentioned, your favorite memory was winning the national championship and just how overwhelming that would be. But all of those things that you've just talked about, your faith and the mental aspect of it and the coaches and all the things that they've taught you, not just ball related, but just you as a person as well. I can't imagine the culmination of all of those things coming together as you're standing there thinking, holy cow, I just won the national championship.
I know.
Yeah, so tell me about that moment, reliving those moments of that game series where we won the national championship and obviously made all sorts of history. You were a big part of that. And so tell me a little bit about those moments in that game and just when it all kind of came together.
Yeah. I mean, it was tough. I mean, a journey to get there. I mean, what the program has done long before I'd even gotten there, the senior class, and just how crazy, like unprecedented what they were able to do. And so it was tough, of course. Like everyone had all these expectations on us and then me getting thrown in there. And it was rough, I'm not gonna lie. But I remember like making it to the World Series. I was still kind of going through some things, and game one, I didn't perform the way I wanted to perform. I was still in that headspace of fighting battles. And I remember coach actually called me into her hotel room the morning before we played UCLA, game 2. Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of the moment that I remember that like my life had kind of changed. And it was just surreal in that moment, of just what we talked about. I'm definitely faith driven and, how to kind of get through that, let everything that I've been through, just kind of give it to God and let him work it out. And I remember going into UCLA that day with a free spirit, and everything was just, all the weight was off of my shoulders. And I was just finally able to go out there and just let things go. And
That's
it was the coolest thing I remember. And then, from there we played Florida twice.
Oh, yes.
That game was nuts too.
It was.
Both of those games. It was like back and forth. Florida's offense was unreal.
Yes.
I remember like having to make mid-game adjustments. Like me and Coach Rocho were sitting on the bench and we're like, okay, like this is what they're doing. This is what we got to do. This is what we got to change. And so that was really cool of like being able to be in game and just going through that. And then of course the championship series versus Texas, a little rivalry game. I've always played Texas, even back at OSU, and so they were familiar with me. I was familiar with them, and so it was like back to square one with Coach Rocha. Okay, what are we going to showcase this time? What's going to be different? How am I going to beat this lineup again? You have to have those conversations because you're facing the best hitters in the country, and so just the preparation that the coaches pour into us and what they give us each and every day. The film, the analytics, all the things that we went through, the game plan. And it was really cool to be a part of and to learn. And then just doing it for the girls, I think, and the coaching staff and the program and just the history. And like, I wanted to leave not only as a senior myself, but for the seniors that have been there and have gone through the three-peat. I wanted them to get the 4 so bad, and I was going to do everything in my power to do my job. And really, you got to let your ego go. You got to let anything selfish, everything's got to be thrown out the door, and you got to do it for the girl to your left and to your right. And I remember just kind of having that mindset, that whole week of just doing anything I could for the team. And it's a team sport that we play, and it was so cool the way it all ended.
It was,
of course, and crazy game, but just being in the moment, being present, being where my feet are, giving the glory to God. Everything turned out. It was just like storybook ending.
It truly was. It truly was. And obviously it's not feasible for anybody to win a national championship or a Super Bowl or World Series, anything year after year after year. There's going to be those ups and downs. But like you mentioned, after that senior class had won 3 in a row, you just thought, okay, well, they can win 4. And it had never been done before. So I can't imagine, you coming into that with all of that pressure. It was so exciting. It was such a great season. And watching you guys, of course, there's a great group of girls at OU right now as well, and they are super fun to watch. So I never try to think about anybody being replaced. It's just moving on to a different set of history makers. But just looking at what you walked into, so to speak, and being a part of that group and the pressure that you guys felt, I can imagine it was crippling at times, but also exhilarating at the same time. And so for it to end the way that it did, and of course, beating Texas, I can't imagine it getting any better than that for sure.
Absolutely. Coach always says, like, the end is always written.
Yes.
We couldn't, believe that enough. I think it was really cool.
Well, and I think that is, like you said, an important role in what you guys believed and how you played, because believing it any other way, it literally would have crippled you. So it's just cool to think about. But like you said, it's a good reminder, especially for those of us with faith. We know the end is written, and we just have to trust it and have faith and do the best we can. And so it's always a good reminder. That's a good life lesson for sure.
Yes, it is.
Well, so you grew up in Texas, Houston area, but you grew up a Sooner fan. So you ended up in Oklahoma and took a little detour for a little while, but you still ended up in Norman. So tell me a little bit about growing up. You said your dad's family was a big fan, Adrian Peterson. So tell me a little bit if you have any of your favorite memories from being a Sooner fan growing up.
Yeah. So my dad is actually from Elk City, Oklahoma.
Okay.
And so he grew up with his family all going to Oklahoma, all of his cousins, his dad. So it was kind of just brought up and at a young age for me. I remember having like OU t-shirts and jerseys, and I was always watching OU softball and OU football, of course. And that's how I kind of fell in love with sports in general. And then how I got my number 28 was through Adrian Peterson, actually. I played for a team, and they like the number that I had grown up like kind of where it was 27, and then they were like, oh, it's already taken, like why don't you be 28? It's Adrian Peterson's. And I was like, oh, you're right. And then it just kind of stuck ever since. And so that was just kind of a cool moment too, of like, I know I didn't start my career at OU, but just finishing it there too was cool. But
yes, I love it.
But in the recruiting process, I mean, I got recruited by OU and OSU. And I ended up going to OSU because I was like, I'm going to be the black sheep of the family. I'm going to go somewhere else. And I mean, I love my time at OSU, the community, the fans, the people. Yeah. Had a great experience there. And then like when it came back, it was just full circle moment. It was awesome. And getting to meet Adrian Peterson was really cool too.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I cannot imagine you finally getting to meet your idol. And that's really cool. Well, I imagine it probably hurt your dad just a little bit to have to put on some orange during your time at OSU.
It did.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your professional career. I know you've played overseas, and you played with the OKC Spark some last summer. And obviously, I'm a big Spark fan since their inception. I've followed. I actually had Coach Flores and Tina on the podcast last spring, and they are both incredible humans. I really, really love them. Funny story. So I was actually at one of the earlier games last summer before you had joined the team with my niece, and we got balls, and I got everybody to sign. And then after you came and joined, I brought my ball back to another game, and I gave it to Coach Amber, and I was like, will you have Kelly sign this ball so I'll have everybody's autograph on here? And I have that ball over here. It obviously means a lot to me to have everybody's autograph on there. It's super special. But yeah, tell me a little bit about playing with the Spark and maybe some of your favorite memories with that. I call it Sooners 2.0. I know there were other great athletes on the team as well, but fantastic athletes to play on that squad for sure.
Absolutely. Well, like backtracking to college, like I didn't really think pro was going to be for me. I knew I was very passionate about being in vet school and getting my kind of professional career started. And then just with the timing of everything, I had a gap year that I needed to fill before actually starting school. So my agent at the time, Leslie Feldman, she was like, do you have any interest in playing in Japan? And I was like, I mean, sure. Like, why not? Like, why not? Really was like my attitude going into it. Right. So I was like, what am I going to do for a year? Am I just going to sit at home? Like, why not go travel, explore the world, learn about culture, eat some good food, put a little money in my pocket to help pay for school. Like,
for sure.
So I was like, why not? So I went out there and I had the best time in Japan. I really did. It was a learning curve at first. Of course, just like the language and being on a whole different time zone. You really got to learn how to fill your time and like be okay with being independent and being like filling your thoughts, of course. And so it turned out to be a really cool experience. And I tell anyone that has interest in going and playing out there, like absolutely do it. If you have the time, like go do it. It's a total different game that they play out there. And then same thing, like when I got back, I had a summer to fill and I was like, you know what am I going to do? Am I just going to sit at home? Why not go play? And so the Spark reached out and I was like, absolutely, I'll come play. And so I ended up spending my summer back in Oklahoma. Absolutely love being in Oklahoma. Just the community, the fans are great. Being back with the girls was something that really I feel like I needed after being gone for a year in a way. Coach Flores, Tina, the whole staff, I mean, they are they run it right. And it was really cool to be a part of that league, but also what they're doing now, being joined with the AU, and just how they're paving the way to make our sport even better. And so it was very like a laid back summer. It was kind of different after being in Japan, of the hard 8-hour grind that we had to go through when we were in Japan, coming to Oklahoma, and it just kind of being laid back, like, oh, y'all go play, you know, type of thing. But it was fun. It was really what I needed to reset before school started, and I really enjoyed it. I'm sad that I won't be on the Spark anymore, but of course, getting to play them hopefully in Oklahoma, or just seeing all the girls too, is something I'm gonna look forward to.
For sure. Well, I was going to bring that up about you being drafted to play for the Cascade. So it's an exciting expansion. I'm excited to support them this summer. And I will say, I did watch the draft back in December. And of course, I was really sad that all of you girls couldn't still be together. And Jocelyn Allo, oh my gosh.
Yes, we're all split up.
It's okay. It's okay because, like you said, you guys, I'm sure, will make your way to Oklahoma City, and we just have more opportunity to come out and support two great teams.
Yeah.
And see all of you guys again. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, I can't remember off the top of my head, are there any other Sooners on the Cascade with you? No?
No.
Oh my gosh, okay.
I think the only two Sooners that are together is Tiare and Riley Boone.
Okay.
For the Volts, and everyone else is on a completely different, like, Jada's on one team, Brito's on one team, Hanson's on one team, Joss is on one team. Like, we're all over the place.
Wow.
Well, Sam Landry, actually. Sorry.
Oh, Sam. Okay.
I just haven't played with Sam, so it's hard for me to, like, connect like two Sooners together. But yes, we are on a team together. My bad.
Okay, well, cool. That will be good that you guys share your position, obviously, and can.
I'm excited. Yes, to work with her. I know her a little bit, but, like, of course, haven't got to play with her and pick her brain. But yes, excited to be with her. The only other two girls that I know of is Sis Bates. She played at Washington.
Yes.
I played with her through USA, and then Carly Hoover, played with her a little bit through USA, but also in Japan. She was at a team not far from where I was based, so we hung out a lot in Japan. So excited to be back with them, and then excited to be back with all the other girls that I've always played against. So cool to learn new faces and learn new personalities. So it'll be a good summer.
Absolutely. Well, I have to remind myself, as well as other softball lovers, that this is what happens with every other sport. Like, all the OU football players don't get drafted to the same team. We still follow and watch and support them. So same thing, we can do that for softball. But I am very excited with the expansion and with AU and the direction it's going, and I really, really hope it gets a lot of support this summer, because I'm a big softball fan, big fan of all of the girls, and just I want to support women's sports for sure. So I'm looking forward to a good summer of that.
Absolutely.
We didn't talk about how you got started in softball. That's usually a fairly interesting tidbit that people love.
Well, I have an older brother, and he grew up playing baseball, and I always was the sibling that was, like, drugged to the baseball park, had to play with all the boys' brothers, playing wall ball and t-ball on the other field, running around. And that's kind of just how I got into it, was just watching him. And then I remember, I think, telling my parents, hey, like, I'm interested. Why wouldn't put me in softball? And so they put me in the local little league. I think I was like 5 or 6 years old when I started, and I fell in love with it ever since. I mean, I played every other sport you could think of growing up, to dance, gymnastics, tennis, basketball, track, volleyball was probably my closest number two. Golf, all the things. And I always tell girls these days too, like, play everything that you can, because it's gonna make you a great athlete. It's gonna help with your coordination. It's gonna help you not get burnt out.
For sure.
Just really find, like, what your calling is and what your true love is, because everyone has a different calling. And so, that's kind of how I got into it. I started pitching around the age of 10 or so. I always threw hard at a young age, but never knew where it was going. And now it's like complete opposite as I've gotten older. Like, I don't throw as hard as the Carlin Pickens and the Nigeries and Megan Framo, but I can locate and I can spin. And I feel like I've really worked on my craft just growing up.
Yeah.
Through my pitching coach, Kyla Hollis, and then John Barfelt at OSU, and then of course Coach Rocha, and just everything that I learned from them, I try to soak it up, and I love growing the game and giving back. I give lessons in my free time, even here at LSU when I have very few hours to give. I still try to get out there as much as possible. So, yeah.
I know you broke so many records and hold so many accolades from your time at Oklahoma State and, of course, at OU and going pro as well and playing with Team USA. And I know you're a role model for so many girls. And so just you being willing to give back and share with future generations, I know that means a lot to the girls. So that's really cool that you do that for sure.
Yes. Thank you.